All right. Hey, y'all. Hey, MMC family. I hope that you're having a great day today. Happy Juneteenth, and I'm coming on today to celebrate Juneteenth. I feel like this is like the light is different here versus here. Okay, I like that. I like that. I like that. Okay. I'm going to start off with my prayer. It's not a religious prayer, it's just a prayer to ground us in our experience together today. So I'll go ahead. My words create my world, and my world is bright. So as I speak, let there be light. My words create my world, and my world is bright. So as I speak, let there be light. So I'm so excited today to share with y'all a book I got from the library. It's called Juneteenth Jamboree, and it has really nice pictures, and I really love the text as well. So I'm super excited to share this with y'all today. And as I said on my threads earlier, I did a talk today. I went to Lincoln Village at Juniper Heights, and it is a care facility, and it was really, really nice to spend time with a generation which I wouldn't normally have spent an afternoon with. I got to hear so many lovely stories about folks' memories of Juneteenth, and it was really a special moment and a special time. So I read them this book today, and I'm so excited to read it here tonight online here for y'all. So I'll go ahead and get started with the book Juneteenth Jamboree, and this is by Carole Boston Weatherford, and it's illustrated by Yvonne Buchanan. So the author's note here gives us a little bit of history about Juneteenth, the holiday. So let's go ahead and get started. So the author writes that Juneteenth is a blend of the words June and 19th. It's an emancipation celebration that is said to have begun on June 19th, 1865, when Union Army soldiers arrived in Texas and informed slaves that they were free. It took this news 2 years, 6 months, and 19 days after President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation to reach the slaves of Texas. Learning of freedom, the joyful ex-slaves set out to find family members from whom they had been separated and finally follow their dreams. Over the years, different legends have been created to explain the reason for the delay, including the story that the messenger was sent from the nation's capital on muleback. Today, African Americans come together all around the country to celebrate Juneteenth with traditions from the early days, including parades, picnics, music, speeches, crafts, and African dance. It is a celebration of freedom and hope. In 1980, June 19th was made a legal holiday in Texas. All right, so before I get started with the rest of the story, I just want to take a moment to let that information settle in and become embodied within your being. And my favorite way to embody new information is to take some good deep breaths and to prepare myself for a new story. So we're going to get started with Cassandra's story here in a moment. Cassandra is the main character of the story. She's a young girl who just moved to Texas, and she's finding out about Juneteenth for the first time. And there may be some of you who are finding out about Juneteenth for the first time yourselves, and you might not have your own meaning to the holiday. You might know about Juneteenth, but it might not mean anything to you. And when we're celebrating Juneteenth, it is a collective celebration. This is not an individualistic holiday. This has to do with the teaching in African spirituality of Ubuntu. And Ubuntu essentially talks about togetherness and what it means to be a family, what it means to be part of humanity. And I would also like to bring up here, before we get started, the quote from Maya Angelou, that nobody is free until we are all free. And so freedom is a collective endeavor. And when we take a deep breath in, this reminds us of our freedom by birthright. We are born free, and we go through life and we are taught otherwise by the systems that we grew up with. And so just taking in a deep breath here together. Prepares us for this new story, this new information, and it also prepares us for this embodiment. And the embodiment is what helps us to make a meaning of something. So that's the point of celebrating something, is to remember. One woman today at the talk, she's really special, and she said, someone had asked her, why do you celebrate Juneteenth? Why do you still celebrate this holiday? And that question reveals a lot. It reveals a lot in that when you're asking someone why they do something, it means that you don't know why yet. You don't have your own meaning yet. And just by asking, maybe that's that person trying to make some meaning of it. And her response was, well, I celebrate because I don't want to forget. So as I read this story today, and as we make our meaning of Juneteenth, and as we remember our innate freedom that we're born with, we can just relax, meditate on these themes of freedom, of revival, renewal, regeneration. Every time that we're taking a breath in, we're creating something new. So right now is a time of creation. Right now is a time of recreation. Right? And Juneteenth is also a reminder of our ancestors, a remembrance of what our ancestors endured, but also how they came through on the other side, because as we all know, the only way out is through. And so they didn't just suffer. They made their meaning of the suffering, and they made their meaning through poetry, through art, through music. And so as I share this story today, I just want you to sit back and relax and enjoy. After the story, I will do a card pull from Tricia Hersey's Rest Deck, and I'll share a bit more about that after the story. But for now, just take a deep breath in and sit back and relax and enjoy the story. Juneteenth Jamboree. Here we go. And I'll show the picture. You see? And then I'll read. It was a fine day for daydreaming. Breathing in aromas of apple cobbler and tater pie, Cassandra gazed out her bedroom window. Her brother Kufi was in the backyard swinging. Her mind drifted to the city and the friends she left behind. She liked her new house, and her new school was okay, but what would summer here in Texas hold? This was her parents' hometown, but it didn't feel like home yet to Cassandra. Come lend me a hand, her mother called. And that's her looking out the bedroom window. She can smell those nice smells. She's dreaming up, looking at the sky, wondering about the future. And there she is in the kitchen with her parents. Cassandra raced into the kitchen, then stopped in her tracks. Dishes lined the countertop. From the looks of the place, her parents had big plans. "What's going on?" "It's a surprise," replied her mother. Cassandra thought for a moment. It wasn't anyone's birthday. "What kind of surprise?" she asked. "A Texas tradition," said her father as he bent down to kiss the top of her head. "You'll see." Cassandra helped make red velvet cake while her father fried chicken. Her dad was whistling, and every once in a while he danced over to where her mother was working and twirled her around as if they were dancing at a fancy party. Cassandra loved surprises, and she was usually pretty good at them. But this one had her stumped. She was so deep in thought that she jumped when the doorbell rang. "See who it is, Cassie," her mother said. And that's who it is. Family. Cassandra could smell her Aunt Bet's rolls even before she opened the door. Texas didn't feel like home yet, but at least it meant that they were closer to family, especially her favorite aunt. "How's my beautiful niece?" Aunt Bet asked. "Fetch me an apron, would you, baby? Then get some clothes from your mama. We've got to get this ham ready." Cassandra decided to see if her aunt would give her any clues about what kind of surprise was brewing. "Are we having company?" she whispered. Aunt Bet winked at Cassandra's mother and just kept on humming and glazing the ham with honey. "Come on, child, you can help with this part." Cassandra carefully stuck cloves into the ham and placed pineapple rings on it. "My, that looks pretty," Aunt Bet sighed as she slid the ham in the oven. Kofi and Dad busily snapped string beans while Mama began packing a picnic basket. Cassandra had never seen so much food, but she was more curious than hungry. Why the feast? Memorial Day had passed, and the 4th of July was still 2 weeks away. "Time to get dressed, Cassie," said Mama. "But I am dressed," said Cassandra. Her mother hurried upstairs. "Just you wait," she said, lifting a calico dress from a pine chest. "This is the best part of the surprise." Cassandra loved to dress up. In fact, her mother sometimes scolded her for going into her closet, and now she was letting her wear this beautiful dress. First her father dancing in the kitchen, and now this. Whatever the surprise was, it was making her parents act funny. She looked in the mirror. The outfit was yellow and blue, the colors of Texas sun and sky. "My grandma made this costume for me when I was your age and surprised me with it on this same day." "Costume?" thought Cassandra. "It's not Halloween. June bugs are jumping and the leaves are all green." Dad honked the horn. Everyone piled into the car. Cassandra sat next to Kofi in the back seat, holding a cake plate and shooing her little brother's fingers away from the frosting. The car smelled just like the kitchen. All the surprise business was making her hungry. Within minutes, they arrived downtown. Juneteenth Jamboree. They parked at the church and left the food in the fellowship hall. Then they walked to the square. It seemed like the whole town was there. Some girls from Cassandra's school walked arm in arm in their long skirts and pinafores. Her parents pointed to a banner that flapped in the breeze. "Juneteenth?" giggled Cassandra. "What kind of word is that?" "Why, that's the surprise, honey," said Aunt Bet. "It means June 19th, said Dad. "That's when Texas slaves heard they'd been freed. President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. but news didn't reach Texas until more than 2 years later. Nobody really knows for sure what took so long, but you'd better believe folks rejoiced when they finally found out. Imagine, sighed Mama. Cassandra tried to picture what it was like for people to hear such news. I bet they sang and danced and had a big barbecue, she exclaimed. Fiddlers began to play. Cassandra clapped. Aunt Bet slapped her hip. I want to see the ducks, Koofy begged. He and Dad walked to the pond. At a picnic table, Cassandra learned to make a corn husk doll. I'll call her Lizzie, she declared. A girl in a pink pinafore leaned over to look at the doll. I'll call her Lizzie, she declared. A girl in a pink pinafore leaned over to look at the doll. Lizzie's my name too, she said, smiling. As Cassandra introduced herself, Lizzie's mother called her from another picnic table. I've got to go, Lizzie said, but I'll see you later. Cassandra hoped so. A Texas summer might not seem so long with a new friend. Look, balloons, yelled Koofy. Tugging Dad across the square, the family weaved through the crowd toward the balloon booth. Can I have one? Koofy blurted. Not so fast, said the balloon man, giving them slips of paper. First, sign your name. But there's already writing on it, said Cassandra. Forever free, she said aloud. Use the other side, said the man. He slid Cassandra's paper into a balloon, then blew it up while she helped Koofy write his name. Hold on to it now, he urged, winking. Under a shade tree, women showed off baskets and brightly colored patchwork quilts they'd made with their own hands. On stage, masked dancers whirled grass skirts to African drum beats. Lizzie ran over and invited Cassandra to promenade around the square with the other girls in costume after dinner. Cassandra's parents were greeted by old friends they hadn't seen in years. A bearded man carved in a cane spun tales of the first Juneteenth. Some folks say the messenger took 2 years to reach these parts because his mule was slow. Others say slave owners wanted to harvest one more cotton crop, so they kept the news from their slaves. Me? I don't know whether to blame the mule, the messenger, or the master. One thing is sure, though. Freedom was a long time coming, but it was mighty sweet. Cassandra heard her father whisper, Amen. At noon, the church bells pealed. The high school band marched down the street. A man on stilts towered over the crowd. A choir sang spirituals that slaves had once sung in the fields. Aunt Bet shook a tambourine and sang along. As the parade ended, the Grand Marshal said, "When the cymbals sound, let go of your balloons all at once." Clash, clang, hundreds of balloons carrying messages of freedom floated toward the clouds. Cassandra's eyes followed her balloon high up into the sky until she could no longer tell it from the others. She imagined slave families celebrating their newfound freedom, jumping, shouting, laughing, and crying, their spirits taking wing like birds released from cages. The balloons soared higher and higher. In the midst of her daydreaming, Cassandra felt Aunt Bet squeeze her hand and glimpsed her wiping a tear. "Don't be sad, Aunt Bet. You'll get another balloon one day." "I'm not sad, honey, just filled up. I'm so thankful that you're home and we're all together." "Me too," said Cassandra, giving her aunt a great big hug. "Me too." The end. Well, that was a good bedtime story. And now I'll pull some cards from Tricia Hersey's rest deck. Tricia Hersey is the creator of the Nap Ministry, and her work centers rest, collective care, regeneration, ancestral healing, and she argues that and posits that rest is a social justice issue, that we live in systems that want nothing but the worst for us. They don't want us to rest. It doesn't want us to get better and heal. And so she talks a lot in her book, Rest is Resistance, a Manifesto, and also within this deck about these beautiful cards. I'll just show you one real quick before I pull them. I'll pull 3 for the collective here, but they're just beautiful. The illustration on there is just gorgeous. It's a like tarot style card, and it just has these messages to reinforce the importance of rest. And yeah, that rest is a social justice issue. I feel like there's something I wanted to say. Oh, she just talks about the importance of snatching rest, because rest in the culture that we were born into, rest was seen as how should I put it? It was seen as a setback. It was seen as a weakness, and it was seen as defeat. And rest is not defeat. Rest is necessary, and rest reminds us of who we are and where we come from. And rest is actually productive, and that's not why we do it, right? But Tricia Hersey talks about the dream space, and it is only within the dream space that we can create a new world. It is only within the dream space that we can embody what it is that we need to embody to become who we need to be. So rest is super important, and it connects us back to our ancestral power, right? The power that we are born with, and our most natural, abundant, easeful way of being. So I will pull 3 cards. I'm just gonna, I never pulled on camera before. It's interesting. Justin Smith, I believe his last name is Smith. I think that's his name. I'm not the best with names, but he's incredible. And I'll definitely link him in the description, because his work is just, I love his work. I mean, his voice, this is what I talk about with March Music Collective, is we all have a unique frequency, we all have a unique voice. And his voice is just a voice that, it just lights it up. And when I say it, I'm just talking about the whole world. I don't know how else to describe it. I don't remember why I brought him up anyways, but he's wonderful. He is truly wonderful. And I think I brought him up because he talks a lot about, creating a new world, and what are some of the things what are some of the directions we need to move in order to get this going and to get this started here. So I pulled 2 cards already. I'm just going to pull one last one. Here's one. Okay, excellent. All right. So let's see. I pulled 3, and there is a little booklet here within the deck. So when you pull a 3-card spread, this is the imagination mood board. So I pulled 3 cards. I placed them next to each other. And this spread's going to tell us the story about the rest life that we are imagining. This is the point of meditation, the point of storytelling, the point of taking a deep breath, right? It's the bridge. It's the bridge between the life we have now and the life that we are imagining. And it reminds us that it's not actually that far away. It's just within this moment. All we need is a moment. Okay. And I'll just keep reading because she wrote down, the 3-card spread. So I'm just going to keep reading the intentions behind pulling the 3 cards. Tricia says each card represents a deep imagination work with the possibility to crack open the boundaries placed on us by a system that degrades our divinity via grind culture. Imagine with them, rest with them, tap into the power of each card for as long as you need. As we deprogram from the brainwashing of grind culture, repetition and practice are necessary. Repeat daily, rest with the spread whenever you need inspiration. So I definitely recommend this deck, and I'll link it as well, because it's just a wonderful piece of artwork, and pulling them daily is definitely the only way that I've been able to reclaim my rest and reclaim my dream space. So Tricia talks about a gentle deprogramming, and that's what we're going to do here today. This is a gentle deprogramming. So just taking a deep breath. Okay, so the first card says, I am not a machine. I am a divine being. I can rest. I am not a machine. I am a divine being. I can rest. And here's the back. Can you imagine what it will feel like in your body once you surrender to rest? Stay in the imagination space. Imagine what freedom from capitalism would feel like in your body. Freedom from stresses like worrying about bills and laboring to feel worthy. You can imagine a new way and a new future. Stay in rest. I love this card because it's really talking about that embodiment. That's really what I first was talking about today. We can learn as much new information as we want, but until we embody it, it doesn't start to do anything for us. We can't start to create the new way in the new world until we have embodied what it is we need to embody. Yeah. When it says, I am a divine being, right? This isn't about perfectionism, but we are made, if you believe in, well, it's not really about belief, is it? It's not really about belief, right? But I grew up with learning about Christianity and learning about things, Christ consciousness, right? And many different religions talk about how we are made in the image, we are created in the image. And so if it feels far away to say I am a divine being, that's okay. But there's a part that resonates. And even how small, it doesn't matter how small, it will grow over time. The more that you repeat these to yourself. I am not a machine. I am a divine being. I can rest. You can rest. All right. And what this does is this just opens your body up and your mind up for a really deep rest tonight. And I hope that you had a good moment with the story to kind of rest and just, be in the story. And this is an opportunity to create your own story, right? Because we have all been made to feel in our lives at some point in time that we are not free. And maybe even saying things like, I am a divine being, I can rest, I am free, I have freedom, that might feel far away. And it's the feeling and the awareness, it's the awareness that's healing. And the feeling gives us the direction. Where do we need to create more of a bridge for ourselves through the breath? I've been thinking about this a lot, actually. I've been thinking about rainbow connection a lot, rainbow bridge. What does that really mean other than love? And the form of love that is grace and acceptance, which comes through the breath. And also through naps and through the dream space. And this is a great tie to the next card. Naps are a portal to a healing dream space. In order to have the dream space, in order to connect to the dream space, make a practice of naps. Tricia says it is time to go deeper into your rest practice and begin to see naps as more than a shortened sleep moment. Naps are an invitation to enter a portal of care and invention. Things can be worked out in this dream space that can't be addressed while awake. You should come here often. Trust the portal of rest. Imagine a rested world. Imagine a rested world. We have been taught to see our imagination as something superfluous, something extra, when in reality, it's the only thing that really matters. It's the only thing that creates, is our imagination, is our brain. That's how powerful our mind is it creates things. It's always creating. It's always creating. And I love how she reminds us of rest as the portal. And this is how I see music too, as the portal. And she writes, naps are an invitation to enter a portal of care and invention. Those are not antithesis, right? Care is not opposite of invention. Invention is not opposite of care. They are actually they are supposed to be combined, right? And naps are a quick way, right? It's a quick invitation to enter that portal. And then the last card for tonight. I am asking for divine grace and rest to cover me. I will anoint myself with rest. I am asking for divine grace and rest to cover me. I will anoint myself with rest. And she gives us a little exercise here, so we can do this here for a moment. She writes, sit, stand, or lie down in a comfortable position. So I'll give you a moment to get in position. Okay, and as the plane passes here, as confirmation that rest is the way, rest is the key to liberation. So now that we're in a more comfortable position, let's place our hands over our hearts and let's breathe slowly. In a culture focused on hyperproductivity, it can feel uncomfortable to be still and do nothing, just letting silence wash over you. Cultivate a space for silence right now. It can be a few seconds. It can be a minute, a lifetime. Trust your body. With your hands over your heart, repeat, "Grind culture cannot have me. I will resist. I will rest." Keep slowly repeating this to yourself. Grind culture cannot have me. I will resist. I will rest. Grind culture cannot have me. I will resist. I will rest. Keep slowly repeating this to yourself. Slow down each word until it covers you. This is rest. Feels good to have my hands here. I moved it away, but this feels good. Doesn't that feel good? Wow. It's like a practice, right? Anytime you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, just put your hand over your heart. Because it just reminds you that you're here. It reconnects you to your innate power and your innate being. And I love this card because it just describes to us what rest is, because to be honest with you, we need to go back to basics here about what is actually recharging us, what is actually helping us to bridge to the life that our ancestors invoked for us a long time ago, and the life that we came here to live. Because we didn't come here to suffer. We were not born to suffer. There's nobody who was born here to suffer. No true human soul. Goes through birth to suffer. And that's, that's the remembrance of Juneteenth, of the holiday. It's a celebratory time. It's a celebratory day of what it means to be free. That's why we celebrate. Why else would we celebrate? Right? To answer that person's question of why do you celebrate Juneteenth? Why do you celebrate this holiday? And I suppose that he asked that question because it's not exactly a popular holiday, right? The popularity has been coming back, so repopularized, sure. but it wasn't made a holiday legally, until 1980. But when I heard the memories from the talk today of people, and they remember vividly their celebrations and garden parties on Juneteenth, right? The beautiful dresses and the delicious food and just family and friends and togetherness. Because that's what it's about. It's about resonance. It's about resonance with our ancestors, with our family line, with our legacy, with our lineage. These are extraordinarily powerful things. And it's through the celebration that we become embodied again with the feeling of freedom, the feeling of joy, of hope, that we will wake up tomorrow. And it is a gift. And that is the gift. And I'm just letting the wind come over me here, because I don't have much more to say, other than I'm extraordinarily grateful to have been able to celebrate Juneteenth with y'all tonight. I hope that this meditation soothed your soul, right? And I just want to remind you again of the phrase, none of us are free until we are all free. But again, as I said before, we are born free. So just remember that with every breath that you take, how free can you breathe, right? If I could challenge you, how freely can you breathe? How softly can you drink the air? How grateful can you be for a nice deep breath? And again, that idea of Ubuntu, right? It's not an idea. Think about this physically, logically. We are all breathing the same air, and I am free. Again, my words create my world, and my world is bright. So as I speak, let there be light. If my world is bright, we live in the same world. We live in the same world. We breathe the same air. And I feel very free. I didn't always feel this way. But I love sharing the tools that I have, like the rest deck. I love sharing my expression through my voice. I loved reading the book Juneteenth Jamboree with y'all. That was so fun. And thank you for coming on today and celebrating Juneteenth with me. May you be blessed, and may you rest. May you rest really, really well tonight. And as always, march to the beat of your heart. Good night. Happy Juneteenth.